to consider when you're just even when you have when you just
You do you want you could do.
just get the thought of applying to school abroad. I have 5 main things that I would consider when I first thought about applying to school abroad that really helped me kind of narrow down A, my options, and B, see whether it was actually feasible and doable. So the first thing that I would consider, and this might come really obvious for some of you, but the language that the programs are in. So if you know exactly what field you want to go into and the programs that you want to pursue, you need to make sure that whatever country you're going to has that program in your language. I didn't have that problem because obviously I moved from Canada to Scotland and I didn't have a language barrier, and I am aware of other countries that, for example, are not English speaking, having programs for international students that are in English. So that could be a really cool opportunity, but again, that's something that you have to consider, and you have to make sure that obviously you will understand the program that you'll be in. The second thing that's really important to consider when you're thinking of applying to school abroad are programs and their requirements. So even if you know what program you want to apply to and the degree you want to pursue, each school is slightly different with what they require and the prerequisites that they require from you. So you have to make sure that you have everything that they're looking for when you apply. That kind of gives you an idea of if you're missing anything across the board, like across all the schools and all the programs, for the degree that you want, whether it be a course or volunteering hours, you have to make sure that you have them prior to applying. A really good resource for that are agencies that actually exist that specifically help students apply to schools abroad. And I have a list of a few of them, but again, I actually used an agency, and I'll make a separate video about my experience with it as well. The agencies that I'm aware of specifically look at helping students apply to schools in the UK. So the one that I used, and I had a really great experience with, is Study in UK. So that's siuk.com. There's Student Solutions, Across the Pond, Atlantic Bridge, which also includes Ireland. But yeah, those are the agencies that I'm aware of. I'm sure that there are other ones, but these ones specifically can be really helpful if you're applying to the UK. The third thing that you need to consider, and one of the most important ones, is the curriculum of the programs that you're looking into and how transferable they are when you're going to be returning home. So you want to make sure that the curriculum matches up with your home country. So for example, if you're applying for a program that gives you some sort of license, a healthcare professional, or law, like physiotherapy, pharmacy, nursing, you have to make sure that these things line up. So for physiotherapy, I needed to make sure that the school that I was applying to had the right amount of clinical hours and lecture hours, and that the content matched up with the Canadian requirements for me to then transfer my degree back to Canada and be able to get licensed here. The fourth thing that you need to consider, and this can be done a little bit further down the line, but it's school ranking. So you want to make sure that the schools you're applying to are reputable, or that you'll be going to are reputable. You want to make sure that there's some statistic of people that have gone to that school from your country, have come back successfully, and have been able to transfer their degrees over. Just want to make sure that you're getting a good education. The fifth and final thing that I would say is really important to consider even before applying to schools abroad is budgeting, tuition, rent, groceries, etc. And I'm going to make a whole separate video on budgeting and how much money I've spent, to basically have a breakdown of how much everything cost, because I was having a hard time finding that online before I went. I just knew what my limit was that I had to stay within, and that's about it. And making sure that you can afford it is really important. There are scholarships and bursaries and like financial aid that you can apply for to help you. You just have to make sure that you can afford it. And on a student visa, I'm not working in the UK, but I have 20 permitted hours a week that I could work. It's not much, it's actually pretty good, but it's not much, and you're gonna be so busy studying and doing all the things, and I'm sure that you're not gonna be wanting to be working every weekend when you're in a foreign country that you're gonna wanna explore. And that is it. So those are my 5 key things that I would say are really important to consider when you're thinking of applying to school abroad. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.